Hey everybody, this is Kenny here from Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. My guest at this time is an indie pro wrestler all the way from Texas. And she is someone that I have not seen or witnessed in a while. She's known for her high flying ability, and that's fun to watch, let me tell you. I'm joined with Claudia Marto. She's with me right now. Hello, Claudia.
Hey there.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Trying to stay busy.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for joining me for this interview. I truly appreciate it.
hmm
And before we begin, as I pointed out in the introduction, you are known for your high flying. And just to give you people an example, if you go to her Facebook account under the name Claudia Marto, her headliner, her head photo, the photo that you see on top of the profile, whatever.
Cover photo, yeah.
Cover photo for that matter. It's got a picture of her, and it looks like she's doing a moonsault. It doesn't show who she's doing the moonsault on, per se. It just shows the referee's reaction, like, oh my God, what is this woman doing? But, that's incredible athleticism. And as I pointed out, I have not seen a female wrestler, whether it's indie or pro, that's doing moves like this since Lita. That's and we're gonna get into your mini high flying maneuvers in a matter of moments. But before we do that, what made you decide to get into wrestling?
Well, I kind of grew up a tomboy, and I grew up watching wrestling. Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, those were my heroes. And I'd say about 15 years ago, I met somebody who was in the business, started training, and I've been doing it ever since. I never, honestly, and even when I was a kid watching it, I always loved it, but I never really looked at that and said, that's something I could do. I could totally do that. It wasn't until, I stepped into a ring for the first time and took my first bump that I knew this is for me. I can do this.
So when you started training, going through the fundamentals and things like that, did you ever consider doing the high flying maneuvers, or did that just came about as you progressed and improved and you felt comfortable saying, I'm going to go for these maneuvers?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. Back in high school, my favorite team, of course, was the Hardys, and it's funny you brought up Lita. I absolutely loved her. And I did consider her like a role model. And I'd say it was within the first 6 months of my training that my trainer sat us all down and said, think of, a professional wrestler and think of trying to make yourself somewhat like them. And, of course, I immediately thought, well, the Hardys, all of them, Matt, Jess, and Lita. And my first time up on a top rope, I did flip. I was scared out of my mind, but with some time, I finally landed my first swanton. Was the first thing I ever did off the top rope. And I tell you what, that adrenaline was just incredible. And from then on, I started coming up with more things and finding any excuse to get up on the top rope and do anything. So.
Well, let me just say, regardless if it's a male or a female, I give anyone credit that's willing to do those maneuvers, considering how big of a risk it can be if it's not done properly, whether it's towards your opponent or yourself. And I tell you, it's not everybody's gonna do it. Some people are comfortable being in the ring, doing technical style or doing submissions and being a brawler, and that's fine. Whatever makes them comfortable. And there will be some times when wrestlers want to step outside their comfort zone. But clearly,
Mhm.
the high flying maneuvers have become beyond you. That is your comfort zone. That's something that you willing to do, and it works out for you. Especially if you hit your opponent with these maneuvers. That
Mhm.
definitely helps. You done the Swanton Bomb. You done moonsaults. Has there been any other high flying maneuvers that you've considered doing, like maybe a 450 splash or maybe
Oh,
something else particular?
yeah. Well, I've tried the 450. I could not get fully rotated. I have been killing myself to do a shooting star press, and I want so badly to be the first female to be able to do that. But I tell you what, that is terrifying. But I'm one of the type of people that once I've got it in my head, I'm not going to get up until I do it. Um, the lion salt, I do that on occasion. I've done the oh gosh, Molly Holly used to do it, where you basically just jump out and sit on their shoulders. And for the life of me, I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, I just love being on the top rope, and it's kind of what I'm somewhat famous for now. I know a lot of the guys that I've wrestled for many, many years. They say it's the prettiest moonsault in the biz. So that's my thing.
Well, you know what they say: a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I'm telling you, people, if you haven't, please check out the cover photo, the moonsault. Just look at just look at the, just look at the the execution of it. Look at the artistry. Just look how well is used, and look at the referees. I don't the referees. Just the look on the girl's face when you doing the maneuver. I don't know if she's looking at you or maybe she's looking at the opponent just to see how the opponent's gonna move or not. But just I'm telling you, it's a beautiful
What
photo.
what I think is the funniest about that picture, it was Paige Turner, by the way, was my opponent that night. That was a show out in Austin, and the referee is Anthony Martosio, best referee in the state of Texas as far as I'm concerned. Also, it's pretty much public knowledge at this point. Very, very close in my life. I won't go into detail, but yeah, he saw me hit the top rope, and that was a look of, oh, please let her, don't break her neck. But yeah,
Pretty understandable. It's just
yeah.
it's just what's good about it is that you okay, that
Mhm.
and you held your own doing it, and
Mhm.
that pretty much what it boils down to. I look at the list of women wrestlers in the state
Mhm.
of Texas, past and present. There's a lot of them, and some definitely have potential to be in the pros one day. I look at Athena. I looked at Jessica James. I look at yourself and Brianne and Barbie Hayden, who by the way is the NWA Women's Champion at the
Yeah.
moment. Um,
And
that
all of those are wonderful ladies, let me tell you. Every time I've stepped in the ring with them, it has been an honor. So,
that's the beauty. Texas in general does have a history of wrestling as far as wrestlers that came from that state, with the likes of Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eddie Guerrero, the
mhm.
Von Erichs, the
Mhm.
Funks. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, I'll even
Mhm.
put Mark Henry in there, even though he's not necessarily don't have the resume as the other guys. But Booker T, I'll even put him in there. I believe he's a fellow Texan himself. He's got an organization out there in Texas too. Um,
Yeah, down in Houston. Yeah.
yes, so you being a Texan and seeing the talent that has come out of the state, how does that make you feel as a Texan? That's making a name for yourself, and you see people on the big stages getting that start there and to elevate their careers? Like, do you feel like that gives you a glimpse of hope that maybe you have what it takes to maybe be where they at one day, as far as at least getting an opportunity in the pros?
You know what? I definitely used to. I and I hate to say it that way, but it's an honor to be from the same state as the names that you've mentioned. And heck, my finisher is the Stunner, and it's pretty incredible. I've been doing this going on 14 years, and I tried out. You know, I've gone and I've done clinics and dark matches and things like that. And I'm finally coming to a point now where I think, you know, I might have made it, but I gave it my best shot. And I'm actually, and this is the first time I said this publicly, I am actually retiring in September. So I might have made it, but I'm getting up there in age, and I had a great run, and I'm going to leave it to the other girls. I'm gonna pass the torch on to, you know, girls like Athena and Miss Dyslexia. I'm so sorry, I got tongue-tied there for a second. Jessica James, those girls. I say I just love to sit back and watch them make it. So.
Wow, the retirement thing, that came out of nowhere. You know, that had me by surprise. But
yeah.
Well,
last November, I got to do Heroes to Legends for PCW, and they made me a legend. They gave me a plaque. You know, I've legend status now, and that was a huge, huge honor to me. And I thought, well, you know what? It's good to just go out on a high point. So, yeah, wow, I can't believe I actually said that out loud.
well, you know, I appreciate you willing to make that announcement on the show, and I guess my only regret is that I didn't get a chance to see you early in your career and see you, you know, evolve, if you will. I mean, I just known you because you're random friend. You're not random, but you are mutual friends towards people that I know that I've interviewed in the past. But let me just say, as a new fan of yours, you know, I'm happy that you have accomplished as much as you can, and that you are willing to say that you gave it your all, and that you can you know, you could walk away with your head held high, and that, you know, you're gonna let the rest of the ladies get their shine, and you know, you'll end up being a fan, you know, come September. And just as a new fan of yours, thank you for what you brought to the table. Thank you for entertaining, for being you, and just being very passionate for what you do for a living. It definitely means a lot. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to those that have supported you throughout the last 14 years.
Thank you. And actually, that does mean a lot. And if I didn't have the fan base that I did, I probably would have retired a lot sooner. But fans like you, fans like, gosh, usually they're 13 years younger. But it's when they start chanting your name and they scream and they come to every show and they buy your T-shirts, it makes it worth it. So all the pain, the broken bones, the tiring trips, it was worth it. Every second of it. You know, and I'm so happy and honored and blessed to have done what I've done. And yeah, it's a good feeling.
So with only, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, that is about 6 months of your career left. Why don't you go ahead and promote the remaining shows of your career that you have coming up, at least as of right now?
As of right now, my next show is March 20th in Sherman, Texas, for the NTWA. I'm actually their women's champ up there. and I'll probably be defending my title again. I don't know against who yet. I show up here and there for Metroplex Wrestling in Bedford, and I am still the commissioner of VIP Wrestling in Arlington. Our next show there is April 24th at the Admiral Hotel. And, yeah, I will keep my stakes out there, and I will take as many bookings as I possibly can. But come September, I will be taking my final bow.
So, given that you've had a chance to, wrestle for quite a while, are there any wrestlers out there that you wish that you've had a chance to work with, but haven't had a chance to work with?
I can't think of any. I mean, the girls that I've got to work, and some of the guys too, that I've been able to step in the ring with, it's more than I could ask for. On an indie level, I can't think of anybody, but golly, if I could have gotten in the ring with Molly Holly or Lita, that'd have been a dream come true.
I would have loved to see Lita and you versus you. That would have been a very intriguing matchup. Someone like yourself that's been influenced by and to this day, outside of you and Lita, I haven't seen another female that's willing to take the risk that you two ladies have, and I guess maybe it just goes back to what I was saying earlier. Maybe it's just the comfort thing or lack thereof. Maybe the high flying doesn't quite fit the character that they're trying to portray. That may be a reason. Like, I don't know, but I don't think we'll ever see another Lita, and I don't think we're not going to see another Claudia doing the moves, that's willing to do the moves that not just moves but just talent, based of talent and just the skill set. So,
thank you.
I guess I'll leave it at that. My last question for you, Claudia, before I let you go. You being the 14-year veteran that you are, what would your advice be to anyone that wants to get into wrestling? What would your advice to any aspiring wrestlers out there?
I will say the exact same thing that my trainer told me. Unless you're 100% sure, don't you dare step in that ring. It's a lot of hard work, and if you're willing to put in that hard work and realize that it's going to hurt, don't do it. But if you can, if you want to, if you want it more than anything, and you're willing to put in the work, go for it and never stop. Don't ever take no for an answer, and never quit. The only other thing I could say, and coming from somebody who's a high flyer, is one thing you learn when you're standing on that top rope. Don't overthink it. It's 1, 2, screw it, just go.
Basically what she's saying is, once you're on that top rope, there's no going back. Especially when
yeah, basically,
and besides, it's front of an audience. People gonna like, you on the top rope, you better do something. You either jump or just at least make an attempt at least, and whatever happens. Not everybody's perfect. Just at least you can do is try. Your attempt, your goal is to entertain. Not everything has to be perfect. Just go out there and let nature take its course.
Absolutely. Never, ever, ever just half-ass it. Forgive me for the language. As an example, my last show that I did, I was part of a battle royal, and I was the third entrance. I went running in and did a moonsault, and my opponent was supposed to catch me off the run. I had no idea where he was. I was facing away from him, but it was, all right, I got to go, because if I just stood up there, I'd look silly, and then he'd look silly just standing there, so just go. You got to trust the people you're in the ring with, and you got to trust yourself.
Well, Claudia, it was very amazing getting a chance to talk to you, and I'm still shocked over the announcement. I just want people to know that she didn't tell me about this beforehand. She just went out and said it, kind of like her high flying maneuvers. But so I just want to point that out for the record. But great chatting with you. And if there's any chance that I can interview you one more time before September, that would be great. I would
Absolutely,
love
yeah.
to have you back on one more time as a active competitor, just so you can reflect, just so you can look back, and if you need to get some stuff off your chest, I will give you the floor. You can shoot interview, do what you got to do, go out with a bang, whatever happens pretty much. But again, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been one of the fun interviews I've done in recent memory. So
Aww.
I want you to know that for well. Thank you again for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I want to thank everybody else for listening. This will conclude the interview. Of course, you can check out Triple Threat Wrestling Radio Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on tmvcafe.com. That is Claudia. I'm Kenny. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
And